Greetings, Arunachala Shiva. So I'm now actually little preparing for the retreat that's coming up in Arunachala, in Tirunamalai. This is going to be the 8th batch. 8 very good groups we had all the time. But in the start there was a lot of um, rush because it was something new. So eventually we are settling down. Couple of times the same people come and repeat and all those things because it's getting deeper and deeper. This tattva itself is that way. So yes, I'm looking forward to now again with a small group selectively taken. This place has selection. These retreats have selection because not everybody might be able to understand this tattva. Now I'm not talking about worthiness. I'm only talking about the readiness. Sometimes we might not be ready. Sometimes we might still be engrossed in the gross things of life or even gross spirituality. Spirituality also, there are many belief systems, there are hardcore philosophies and concepts which we might be too much attracted to and stuck in that. It is all a part of the process, nothing is wrong. But with those things, it becomes a little difficult to fathom anything that is higher or deeper. Because higher you go, it simply means you have to leave the lower rungs of the ladder. If you leave the lower rungs of the ladder, you can climb higher. So when that conflict happens, somebody can get confused. They can have conflicts and then they can think this is a different path, that is a different path. There is no different path. It all seems like different paths because we have been probably acquainted to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of life, a certain way of spirituality, and we think this is spirituality, and then we come to know no, something else. So it can be very difficult, it can be hard. But Arunachala Tattva is the final Tattva where everything just dissolves. It starts dissolving. That's the ultimatum of all the paths. Annihilation of all the paths happen there because whatever you have accumulated, finally everything is dissolved by Arunachala. So sometimes if we are too much fanatic about something or too much craving or too much attached to our own philosophies and concepts, our own belief systems that we are holding on to due to greed or fear, it might be difficult to simply let go of that. It can be even so conflicting that you can't believe this is coming from higher tattvas. That can create a conflict, a repulsion within. So that is why what we call as a readiness. It's not about worthiness, it's about readiness. In fact, I've been thinking to split these into all these programs or whatever we do into 3 different categories because then it becomes easy, because I can understand if somebody is of the level 1 category and if they are exposed to something level 3, it might be different. Now these are not levels, these are categorizations which I'm calling like level. It doesn't mean the third is or the first is higher than the third and all that stuff, blah blah. It's only the readiness, preparedness, from where one can catapult further deeper. So that's why I'm calling these as deeper retreats. This time it's going to be more of silence. It's going to be deeper. Deeper means the sessions will reduce and more of the practical experiences in and around the hill. Like even Pradakshina, what we have, the Girivallam. We will be doing it this time on foot and in the way prescribed by Bhagwan Ramana. In silence, in meditative absorption. And there is a certain way to prepare ourselves and then we do the parikrama. It's very powerful because I've done these before. Not in the retreats, I've never done it. We go in the bus usually in the retreats. So this time there is no bus. It's going to be very, very meditative. The whole schedules are a little different than what we have every time. So as I said, the people who are not ready for the higher, deeper levels of the tattvas, they might just be interested in just moving around and looking around the hill and having some fun, visiting temples and doing different pujas and seeing what is Ramana Ashram, where is the Samadhi, going and bowing down there and praying and seeing some Jiva Samadhis or finding hunting avduts. All these things can be. So there are different levels of understandings in these things. So what we are talking now is not all these things. So if somebody is coming with that kind of a quest, then they might say, what is this? This is too hard for me to take, or too hard for me to digest. I was here for fun. I was here for a change, place change, mental change. I wanted some peace. So that's the reason I came here, for peace. Well, these levels, what I'm talking, the deeper levels are more than peace. It is the activation of that zone of peace where you become peace. You don't come and have a refreshment and go back and then get soiled again and then come back again. It's all about attaining that levels of life, that maturity of life, where we can start living in that absorptive, meditative states of awareness. So it's like making it a part of life, and only those who are serious can make it a part of life. Are you getting my point? So it might not be easy for everybody to relate, and that I can very clearly understand. I've been saying this for almost 2 years now in all the programs and retreats. So I just thought I'll have a split so that I can cater to somebody who is very enthusiastic and very, very curious to know things, and who are not ready to let go of their belief systems or whatever knowledge they carry. They are very new to it. So I don't want to scare them and, thrash the things out of them. We don't do anything. Grace does everything. So even Grace brilliantly handles even without my interference. I know that. But probably it's Grace only telling me to do this, so that it becomes easy. So I thought I'll do it in this manner. So that's the reason I'm not hurrying up with any retreats, because I can see our readiness is not there, and I simply don't want to make it some kind of a glamorous spot or some kind of a very happening kind of thing, and we go there. And even the Uttarkashi, I was thinking about Uttarkashi, but I've just postponed it in my mind, because more than my readiness, it's about readiness of the people. People are ready. People are ready because maybe it's more interesting about Gangotri and the river banks of Ganga, and one Chardham and all those things, and maybe it's a different place, camping besides the river, and having fun and all that. No, I'm looking a little more deeper than that. I'm basically not looking for fun. And that might be a miscommunication that we might have with people. So we are not trying to do these retreats or programs outside for fun or for picnic, or like, it's going to be very deep. It's simply with the urge of merging with that and becoming one, united with that consciousness, where I experience that, remain there for certain amount of days, and then return back and be that. That's what we are doing here in Arunachala now, in February first week of the retreat. So if you are ready for those kind of things, then, because that is what these places are beckoning about. There are other places of spirituality where we can go always and have enjoyment there. We can have meditative moments. We can have some thrills. We can have some spiritual outings. But these are not that. It's a little more deeper. And for that, we need chitta to be little settled and purified. So for those purification, we can have many other levels of programs and understanding, where we are working with the ego. I am someone, and I am the meditator, and I am the one who's going to clean myself and purify myself. That's a different zone. Yes, it works. That also works. Those are the first levels. That is what all the paths are about. All the paths are about that, working with the mind. The phase 1 is always about controlling the mind. I control my body, I control my breath, I control my life, I control everything about me. I create my own stuff. So it's more about the controller. Who's the controller? The ego. So the ego is working there. We get into the ego form only. The aspirant, the seeker, the meditator, that person is still there. The yogi is still there. That's the first level. Then you go deeper. Then from controlling the mind, it goes to watching the mind. You become a watcher. You become an observer. You are no more indulging in it. You don't identify with the mind and get into things. You are separate. You are happy observing, then jumping into. That's the second phase. where all the doing starts fading out. And you are more interested in just being a witness to life. You just observe your body, your breath, your life, your thoughts, everything. You're just an observer. So that is where our play comes in. The awareness practices begins from there. It doesn't begin with the first level. First level, yes, gross awareness you can. While eating, you live in mindfulness. You talk in mindfulness. You walk in mindfulness. You work in mindfulness. That is all the first level. Controlling. But by the second level, you are a witnesser, you are an observer. You pull back and you become more observant of the one who's the doer. That's an interesting phase. So here the first level is where all the paths work on, maximum till the second path, till the second level. So till this phase comes, and very difficult to be an observer. So most of the parts have challenges there. The doer is always very active. You cannot have gati there. You cannot progress beyond a certain thing. So that is where we begin these conscious programs, and we have all these webinars and all that. The first is what I am calling is Anvopaya only. Second is Shaktopaya, what I am talking about. You become a mere observer. You are more on the mental level. You're not physical anymore. All physical activities just stop. You're not interested. You lose interest. Basically, you just lose interest in all the physical activity. All the bodily and all the gross things you lose. So you become more acquainted with the mind level. That's the phase 2. So from controlling the mind, you go to watching the mind. And the third is, you're not interested in the mind only anymore. Even you are not interested in the mind. What is the mind? You are nothing to do with the mind. Third level is nothing to do with the mind. First is controlling the mind. Second is watching the mind. Third is nothing to do with the mind. That's Shambhavopaya. That is Arunachala Tattva. So that's little difficult. Nothing to do with the mind. Yeah, you say nothing to do with the body, I can understand. Nothing to do with the mind? How do I do nothing with the mind? Because I'm thinking, I'm talking right now, everything with the mind. Everything. Even the meditator, I'm meditating with the mind. I'm doing all the kind of visualizations, this, that, everything is in the mind. My chakras, my energies, my kundalini, everything is happening in the mind. The energy, the sending, the receiving, everything is in the mind. So what is beyond the mind? That's interesting. That's consciousness. That is the Shambhavopaya. And that is where shifting into awareness is actually working on. It's the soul level, Atmic level. It's the Atmic awareness. You are not the mind at all. You just move from the mind / ego to the soul. That moving is what we call shifting into awareness. Awareness is the soul awareness. That's the tattva of the soul. It's simply aware. So you simply shift from the mind into that zone, and then you have nothing to do with the mind. Interesting. It's very interesting. But it can be difficult for people who are too much stuck with the fantasies of the mind. Oh, my concepts, my belief, that is first level. It's still there. Too many things. I am the doer. I have to do. I am a go-getter. I have to attain self-realization. This is all the first level of understanding. Slowly you will come to know there is nowhere to go to attain nothing. And until you let go of that one who is seeking to attain something, you are not going to attain anything. The moment you let go of that and just shift into that awareness, you are there. You will have glimpses of that realization. That glimpses is the trailer. Then once you get that glimpse, now you know what it is. You have had a taste of it. Now you want to expand that, and become that. That is self-realization. So that's the beauty. So these are the 3 levels, and I have challenges in conveying this. Sometimes I see there are mature seekers who are there on the 3rd level, the 3rd phase, and I'm talking to them the 1st phase, because there are many of the 1st phase there. They can't understand what is this. And the 3rd might be disappointed. So in that way, there are challenges. So for a long time I've been contemplating. Today I simply got some insights on how it can be handled best, which I believe, yes, it should work. So that's how it is. If you feel you are more inclined towards the 3rd phase, you are most welcome to Arunachala. Even now you can write, and let's see if you are there in that, then we'll go ahead with it. If I feel no, you still need some time, then I'll tell you about it. It's for our own good. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. We just handle ourselves in the most beautiful way we can by taking care of ourselves. Whichever level we are not being very harsh. We are being very gentle with ourselves. That is the best form of self-care and self-love. Hope to see you soon in these different levels of webinars or retreats. You're most welcome. Anytime you feel like, you can always write to me. You can clear your doubts, anything. You can attend our free Zoom sessions that we have almost every week and clear your doubts. You can directly ask questions. You can clarify anything that you want with it. But please do not have any fanatic idea about this as being some another path. This is not another path. This is where all the paths end, this path begins. That is why I put it as the pathless path. There is no path in this path. All the paths end here. And until you end all the paths, the doer will never end. Who's the path follower? There is a follower, the doer. Till that guy dissolves, till that person, that individuality dissolves, there is no pathlessness. This is the mark of Avaduta. Avaduta Marga, Avaduta Tattva, this is what I am talking perfectly. Chidakasha Gita, Avaduta Gita, Ashtavakra Gita. And Arunachala is a place of Avadutas, Siddhas and Avadutas. You'll get to see them, you'll get to witness them. There are ways where you can align and receive attract their grace. That is what we do in the sessions. Retreats are about that. You come for the retreat and without the retreat and see the difference. You'll come to know. You be on your own. It's powerful, definitely. But until you have a certain tendency, until you are inclined, until you are aligned, you are prepared to drop that mind, it's very difficult. It's very challenging to sit there on your own and try to do it. You can check it out. You can live out all these things, what I'm telling you. Practice it. Experience it. Have a first-hand experience and then only trust or catch on with these tattvas. If you have difficulty in settling down, then you are most welcome to the retreats. That's what we exactly do. We understand the human tendencies and slowly by day 2, we are there. It takes 2 days to settle down. That's why the sessions go on. And then after that, the 3rd and 4th day, we are just absorbed. Whatever we worked upon, whatever we are attracted, we just get that. That's the whole fundamentals. So anyways, I don't want to go more into that. As time comes and whenever we are ready, we will understand these things much better. Much divine love and light to all of you. Stay blessed.